I'd like to be a good parent, but does the Bible give any insight on how to be a good parent and what He wants of me as a father or a mother? He does, and we're going to look at that in this video. Now, this video is a part of a larger series called The Disciple on our YouTube channel. If you go to playlists, you'll see a playlist called The Disciple, and we're walking through all the different ways to grow and mature and become stronger in our faith and to be in God's will. And one of those categories is on personal development, and we highlight certain areas of life for development, and one of those areas is parenting. And so you'll see that in that order. So the Bible gives us guidance on parenting. I'm going to look at a dual focus of a parent that the Bible talks about. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, as well as Colossians 3:21. Now, Colossians 3:21 says, do not provoke your children, more or less. There might be different wording for different translations, but don't provoke your children to anger or wrath. Ephesians says the same thing, Ephesians 6:4, but it adds to it, but bring them up in the discipline and in the instruction of the Lord. So there's 2 points of focus that Paul mentions there. And depending on the translation, we might see a greater or lesser contrast of the 2 ideas. In the English Standard Version, the first word used is discipline. In the NIV, it says training, and in the King James Version, it says nurture. Now, the second word also means instruction in the NIV and the ESV, means instruction, which is similar to training. So it creates a scenario where it's not a good contrast. So there's something going on with these 2 terms that are indicating a different way to approach things. And so what I'll do is the second word will be teaching or training or instruction. The first word, I'm going to focus on the King James use of it, and that is to nurture. And the reason why, like I said, because the second word already gives that whole instructional idea to it. And so what's the second idea that's surfacing? And that word nurture is certainly giving a contrast versus the discipline and training in those other 2 translations. Also, the whole idea of do not provoke your children to anger speaks to some kind of a way to navigate this relationship and keep this relationship healthy. And that's why I think nurture fits best there. So I want to nurture my relationship with my child, and I want to train my child. And the nurture part, and I think that's why Paul says these things, that to do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up, is because, and actually I'll add to that, Deuteronomy 6 talks about the way we're supposed to disciple, and we'll actually cover that at some point, is to do this while in relationship with our children. Plus all the statements throughout Scripture that talks about the need of being loving in our relationships. So certainly it's a biblical idea to pursue a healthy relationship with our children. And that means that as a father or as a mother, I need to know how to navigate all the emotional sensitivities of my children, and I need to respond appropriately and accordingly, and I need to seek to have a healthy relationship with my child, with my children. And it's out of that I'm going to have the capacity to be able to or at least a greater likelihood that I'll be able to raise them up to follow the Lord. So one of the things you can do to be an effective parent or to be a faithful parent before God is to love your kids, to treat them well, to take care of them well, to connect with them. The second is to bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord, to train them primarily how to follow the Lord. Now, there's other aspects to life to teach them, and we'll get to that, and those are good things to do. But primarily my job as a parent is to teach my children how to follow the Lord. It's to disciple them, basically. And actually, in all actuality, I am responsible for pastoring my children. And it's unfortunate that many parents will take their children to a church or to a program and hope that those people will teach their children how to follow the Lord. And while those resources aren't bad, and they're helpful resources as kind of an assist to what I'm doing as a parent, but I need to see my children's spiritual development as primarily my responsibility as their parent. And that's what the Bible teaches. It doesn't say to send them to a youth group or to put them in children's ministry. Again, not that those are wrong or unbiblical, but my primary pursuit is for me to be the one to disciple my children and to teach them how to follow the Lord. And so I want to teach them how to walk with Him, how to seek Him, how to pray, how to study the Bible. I want to teach them morality, biblical morality, and how to live appropriately in this world. I want to teach them sound doctrine and how to correctly and biblically think about and see the world. These are the responsibilities. But when I lean in that, I need to realize the healthier my relationship, my emotional connection is to my children, the more receptive they're going to be to these efforts. And the less healthy my connection is with my children, the more they'll resist these efforts. And so I have to navigate those two. And not that I should seek connection only to disciple them, because I'm supposed to love everybody in my life. And so I should just love them on that alone. But on top of that, in order for me to disciple them, I need to love them. So again, when you go to parent your children, the first step to being a godly parent is to have a dual focus. I want to nurture my relationship with them, and I want to train them how to follow the Lord. If you have any questions on that or on any of the videos in this series or anything else, just feel free to leave them in the comments. Or if you have some feedback that would be helpful to know that this content's useful to you, you can leave that in the comment or share this information with somebody else to promote being a strong follower of Jesus Christ. If you live in the Pittsburgh area and you would like to join us to grow in person, we'd love for you to join us. We're Bethel Assembly of God at 2501 Staten Street, Wednesdays at 6:30 and Sundays at 10 a.m. God bless.